and I always stick to the plan and shoot 2 rolls of film, which means 72, which means 72 pictures because you have 36 pictures on a roll.
I know that you shoot like mostly black and white. Why do you think like that black and white became your language?
I never lived in luxury neither, it was just like middle class working family.
I think that your style or style in general, you can actually, it's something what you can build or you just need to discover during your life.
People, if you see my Instagram, people think, man, you have an easy life all the time in LA. Yeah, but that's Instagram. There's flip side to this as well, because if I'm in LA for a month, that means I'm not home for a month and I don't see my kids for a month. So I had a shoot with Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode in Paris, and the manager said, you have like 1 minute. I said, that's not too much, So he came into the hotel, I had 1 minute, I took 3 pictures, he tapped my shoulder and he said, it's time to go. My son is 17, if I ask him pick a Porsche, he will go for a GT3. Because for him that's what's on the street right now. And probably in 40, 50 years, maybe he will go back to the GT3. I don't know if it's still when you're a kid and you're playing outside, playing football with friends, and there's a car coming which makes more noise than another car, and you see it, you immediately recognize the Porsche. Even when nobody told you it's a Porsche, you know it's a Porsche.
Thank you to everyone who came today and made this happen. We are in beautiful place, Concepti, and we are recording today podcast with legendary photographer Bart Kuykens. Welcome in Prague again.
Welcome, it's a pleasure to be here again.
It's such amazing that we have the opportunity to have you here and have this beautiful release of your book. This Bart book is about his 10 years Porsche selection, I guess. For me, it's like such an honor to have the opportunity to do the podcast with you. Can you tell us something about the book?
Yeah. Well, it started with, of course, like everything else, with a first book number 1, which was part of a series called The Flat Six Love Affair. And we decided, while we were producing the book and in editing the book, to put a P on the side of the book. So that was book number 1 with the big P, which says the P from Porsche. And then we decided to make a second book, and then I was sitting with my graphic designer and said, what are we going to do? We're not going to put the P again on the book. It looks stupid. So we decided to put an O and then an R, and I said, hey, wait, so you want to have Porsche on the book? So yeah, let's go for that one. So from that moment, I knew I was going to make 7 books, because you cannot stop with 3 books, of course. So we made 7 books. Then I made 1 book in color film. And then the Essential Love Affair book came in between. And this was then book number 12. But I called it the 10th anniversary because it was 10 years of shooting on film, shooting classic Porsches, modern Porsches. So I felt like my story was told. I didn't feel the need to make another book and another book, but so this is basically a complication a compilation, but from 10 years of shooting Porsches on film. I'm not saying I'm never going to make a Porsche book again, but for now I want to rest a little bit. I did a Ferrari book in between. Maybe I want to make a book about Defender or something else, and then we'll see.
So tell me, I know that you shoot mostly black and white. Why do you think that black and white became your language? Because it's interesting because so many photographers, they kind of mixing the color and black and white, but when I check your work, it's mostly black and white, and it's kind of fitting to your signature.
Yeah, my DNA. Yeah. I was always intrigued by black and white because I think it has this timeless look and feel to it. So I kept shooting black and white and tried to make it as perfect as possible for me and get the best out of the film, the most out of the film. And the 7 books were black and white anyway, so it was already years and years doing black and white. I love to shoot color as well, but for me black and white has this timeless, you see the grain better, it's there, it has this perfect imperfection. So I think my signature is black and white.
What was your very first emotional connection to Porsche?
Well, it's always like everybody's telling the same story, but it's the reality when you're a kid and you're playing outside, playing football with friends, and there's a car coming which makes more noise than another car, and you see it, you immediately recognize the Porsche. Even when nobody told you it's a Porsche, you know it's a Porsche. And it's not that many brands who has this typical shape that kids recognize, like, hey, a Porsche.
Yeah.
So that was the first connection, and then, okay, grew up playing football and skateboarding and everything. And then I think I was like 18 or 19, and we had a big club scene in Belgium going on. And the owner of the club had a 993 4S. It came out back, it was like, I think 95 or 96 when it came out. And I immediately fell in love with that car, and I had like, oh my God, if I one day can buy this car, I made it. That means that you made it, because it's still a symbol of a status symbol, you know. So there I fell in love again. Yeah. And then many years later, my neighbor who lived across the street had a classic Porsche, and he convinced me to buy a classic one, and that's where. And once you start, you know, it's like
it's interesting because I think it's, you know, it's lifestyle, but it's nostalgia as well, and with the photography and the motion, it's everything connect like beautifully. Yeah. And you know, we are here like because Speed Dates. I would like to say something about Speed Dates. Speed Dates community platform built around relationships and love for Porsche, and lifestyle platform that connect art, architecture, design, and cars. And it's such a interesting because when I saw you like for the first time, because you have been like many times, you know, and I had the opportunity to like see the cars, and it's just lifestyle, and you know, you can see here like it's so many people who are interested, you know, to see the cars and see the photography, and it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Why do you think that people form emotional relationships with the cars, like you told me already? But do you think it's the point what you said, like about when you grow up, you know, you just saw the Porsche everywhere, and
well, it started of course with seeing the car and fell in love, and then there's the moment you buy one, and you have this excitement from I have one, and then you start to go to attend events like this event, for example. You come to Speed Dates and you meet different people from all layers in life. You know, it's not a Porsche for me. It's never something about having money or made in life, because you have people from all layers. But when you're at an event, you don't see it. You don't see who's the lawyer, you don't see who's the businessman, you don't see who's the baker, because you don't come in a suit. You know, everybody's casual. And you meet new people and you meet friends, and there you see when the community is really growing and really supporting to each other. And I think that's what makes it really interesting, and especially Speed Dates do an amazing job bringing people together and have everybody at the same level. There's no show off here. I must say there's different events, because I went to so many events all over the world, and there's events built around showing off and who brings the most expensive car and that kind of stuff. That was never really something that interested me. But Speed Dates do an amazing job, and they bring everybody together, GT3s, but also the guy with the 912 or the 914, and it's all one big family. And I think, I can easily say we can congratulate them by the job they do here and bring everybody together.
I think it's interesting because every event is different. And you have different like story there. And it's so unique. I would like to ask you about the behind the scenes, like what is the behind the photo shoot, because I think like people like inviting you, for example, to Japan. So what is behind? Like if I will be someone who is based in Japan and I would like to call you, so how does it work? Yeah.
Well, you call my manager, Pavel Flegel. No, it's just if I feel like there's a connection, if there's feel like I can bring something to the community or inspire, because for me the photography is about first of all, it's my passion, what I like to do. Second of all, I shoot what I think look nice. If people like what I do, I'm lucky. But I will never shoot something just for the sake of shooting, because people want me to shoot a car with naked girls, for example. I never did that because that's something it doesn't interest me. So if I feel there's a connection, if I feel I can bring something to the people, inspire some photographers, then I'm more than happy to join, of course. And then we figure out how to get there, how it works. When I was younger, I used to go there, and I was happy when I came back home and break even. When you get a little bit older and you have a family and kids, it's obvious that it's become your part of your job as well, and you always want to make a little bit of money if it's possible. That's
and you just typically usually going there, and do you create some like mood board or something, or are you just going with flow? Like if I will shoot something like this, I would go like, you know, for some scouting or something, and I will scout location. How is it with you? Like you just going randomly to some like places? Or I never did location scouting.
You just go because I go with the flow, because I shoot the way I am. I just wake up, I meet with the guy, we go for the shoot, and let's see what happens. If it rains, it rains. If it's sunny, it's sunny. So I try to adapt to every situation.
I love this.
And we take the best out of it. And I learned that from a photographer called Anton Corbijn. It's a Dutch photographer, and he's shooting a lot of portraits. And I asked him once, like, how is it when you only have like 10 minutes with a celebrity to shoot? And he said, you just make the best out of it. And that's what I learned, and also try to do when I have a shoot for someone, because you have no power over what's happened anyway. If it starts to rain all of a sudden, then it rains. So
and do you shoot like just with film, or you have backup a second camera, like digital camera?
No, well,
just film?
I brought the digital now for
commissions.
If you work for a client and the client wants to have the picture tomorrow, then there's no other option than to shoot digital. But for all my books, everything is analog on film. And I always stick to the plan and shoot 2 rolls of film, which means 72, which means 72 pictures, because you have 36 pictures on a roll. And out of those 72 pictures, I had to pick 15 good ones. So if you compare that to today photography with digital, I think I take 72 pictures, but I end up shooting 500 or 600, because it's so easy. You click, 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 and you don't look anymore. You don't take time for composition anymore. That's why I prefer to shoot on film. And there's also the excitement of not seeing what you do, because with digital, I click and I see. I click and I see.
You actually shared yesterday a photo, and it wasn't perfect on Instagram. You know, because there was some light leak or something, but even with the light leak, it was stunning. You know, I think it's interesting, because what bringing us back to the analog is this thing that it is not perfect. You know, sometimes you have these small little things, and people can be upset, but I think it's beautiful, and it's part of the journey as well.
Well, it's the patina. When you have with film, you have that immediately, and especially when you have a mishit, let's call it a mishit, that there's beauty. I always say there's beauty in imperfection as well. It's the same with furniture. The furniture here is absolutely stunning and beautiful, but if you take the lounge chair from Vitra, for example, it's brand new, but when you buy that chair, after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, it's becoming amazing, because it has this patina and leather, and it gets softer, and it gets a little bit of scratches, and then the piece become a part of your place, a part of your home, a part of your soul, and that's for me much more valuable than brand new stuff. So, but you have to, like with boots and jeans, you have to wear it in a little bit, and then it becomes part of yourself.
I think it's the same with the dark room. Like, you know, we have downstairs. It's actually an invitation for everyone. Like, if you would like to see the dark room after podcast, you can show up there, and I will show you everything. I think with the dark room is same. Like, you can play there like 2-3 hours, and you will end up with 2 photos, 2 good photos. Like when we did like the photos with Oliver, like before the show, like we just play like, I don't know, 4 hours there, and we had like 3 finals photos.
Yeah, but that's perfect.
It's amazing, you know, because you can smell the chemicals, and it's kind of like meditation as well. Do you classic Porsche represent slower and more nostalgic and emotional era? Do you think?
The classic ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's also related to my age. I'm 51, so I tend to like the. I think people always go back to the cars they like when they were like 18. So what I like is the Porsche from when I was 18, which is 993 more or less, this period. I also like the Volkswagen, the first or second generation. What I like these days as well is the Japanese cars, when the Honda Civic VTEC, which is now coming back to my mind. I say, wow, that was a great car. So, but I think for the younger generation, my son is 17. If I ask him pick a Porsche, he will go for a GT3, because for him that's what's on the street right now. And probably in 40, 50 years, maybe he will go back to the GT3. I don't know if it's still going to be
The thing?
as relevant as it is for us, because the new generation, they don't collect anymore.
Yeah.
We used to collect records and CDs and vinyl and books and everything. And my son has everything that I have, but nothing physical.
Yeah.
He has all the songs on Spotify, has all the books on his.
Yeah.
So maybe the generation is different.
But you know, in my opinion, I think it's going back even like to younger generation. But I think the people, you know, the kids, they just need to experience like everything. And what I can see, even with the AI era, like everyone is so tired. So even, you know, your son, it's maybe interested like to see the GT3, but maybe in future when he'll be older, he'll be more interested like in the classic. It's my opinion, because you know, like we're going back to vinyls, we're going back to cassettes, you know, even like all these small little analog things. And I think the analog is the future. And I think even like, you know, I wasn't interested like in analog photography at all. Like I was inside the school, and I remember like, here's actually my teacher somewhere, and I remember like we had analog like first degree, and I was like, I don't like it. And then later on, I just started to shoot film, and you know, and yeah.
Well, you have to fall in love and see what it is, and do it yourself and practice and.
I'm excited about your son, like in future, like, you know.
Yeah, me too. But as you mentioned the AI, I'm not afraid of AI.
Yeah.
Because what AI is doing is everything we do makes it faster and quicker. Not better, but maybe better. But I mean, you can ask AI like, hey, this is my picture, and I want you to make it exactly like Bart Kuykens in black and white with the grain and everything. And AI will do it in a split second. But it's not my name on it. It's your name. So if it's gonna sell, it's a copy. So I'm not in art. I'm not afraid of that. You can ask AI make a song like the Rolling Stones. It will be, but it's still not the Rolling Stones. It's something else. So it will help us in a lot of ways. But I'm not sure it's gonna take over the creativity of creative people or musicians or. But it's helpful, of course.
Do you think that your style or style in general, you can actually, it's something what you can build, or you just need to discover during your life?
I think you discover it. I was always inspired by, like I said, Anton Corbijn, because it's a lot of black and white, a lot of deep blacks, almost no shadows anymore, a lot of grain, a lot of unsharp pictures, and then you develop your own style, and at some point you feel confident, like, hey, this is me. And the moment you realize people see a picture on Instagram or online and they know it's your picture, then you know you have a style, you know? Like when you hear a song from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know there's a Chili Peppers. So the Cure is they have a really special sound to it. And that's what I try to do with my pictures as well. Stick to the plan. Don't go from color to black and white and then shoot weddings and then next day shoot a birthday party and then cars. So it's difficult for younger generation to stick to the point, stick to a plan, because they want to make money, of course. But I think it's better to develop your own style, stick to the plan, and try to be the best as you can in what you do. If it's photographing butterflies, it doesn't matter.
Just
try to be the best guy. Say this is the guy for the butterflies. So So that's what I try to do. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you use analog, do you use like different media as well? Like do you not media? Do you use like different cameras as well? Like let's say we had discussion in the morning, like around Polaroid.
Yeah.
Do you use like Polaroid or switching to like medium format and?
Yeah. I used to shoot Polaroid, but not that much that I would love to. But most of the time I shoot 35mm Leica. I did a lot with 120 film for Hasselblad, which is medium format for people who don't know. So I try to switch once in a while, just for my own creativity. Yeah. What I also do is when I go on a trip to the States for a month, I can take 10 lenses, but I decide to take 2. For example, 28mm, a wide angle, and then a narrow 75 or 90mm. So I push myself to be creative when I'm there. Even when I sometimes have one lens and I realize I'm too far, means I have to walk, go back. When I'm too close, I have to go back. Yeah. And when you bring a lot of lenses, it's too easy. Then you sit in your chair and you just change the lens and you have everything. So that makes it for me interesting. So I push myself and I try to make it fun for myself and just go one lens and see what I can do with that lens. Yeah. And keep yourself sharp and interesting.
I would like to touch the digital era, you know, because you grew up in the time when was analog before, and there was around 2000-ish. There was the digital era, and then right now, you know, we had the discussion about that analog going back. What was the journey, your journey during this, you know, 2000, 2001? Have you swapped to digital, or have you just went like fully?
No, I didn't went to digital. I always kept shooting film.
Just film.
Yeah. Until at some point I had a shoot with Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode in Paris, and the manager said, "You have like 1 minute." I said, "That's not too much, you know." So he came into the hotel. I had 1 minute. I took 3 pictures. He tapped my shoulder and he said, "It's time to go." I said, "Jesus!" So I thought by myself, coming out, I was frustrated. I said, I cannot make this mistake anymore because you don't have that much opportunity to shoot with people like Depeche Mode. And there I went to buy in the Leica shop and bought myself a digital Leica. I said, next time I go, I can take a lot of pictures. And it definitely has, I have nothing against digital at all. It has a lot of benefits, especially when it's really dark and low light. You can push the ISO to 16,000, whatever, which is almost not possible on film. So, yeah, there's room for everything. There's room for everybody. Some people shoot digital, some analog. So yeah, is what you prefer.
It's interesting that you're just talking about that, like these stars, like band stars, like it's normal. Do you have any like dream client? Probably Porsche. But do you have any like dream clients? What you would like to work with, like in future? Or some big.
Well, if it would be, I would not say a client. Then I would more go for. I did a lot of stuff for Porsche, obviously, and after a while, it's just becoming like a client, you know. But what I would like to do is, I like to shoot portraits. I was on the road with, like I say, with Depeche Mode. I did some stuff for Jamiroquai, Macy Gray. I photographed Paloma Picasso. And I'm not intimidated by their personalities. For me, it's just interesting to see, hey, I'm this guy from this little town in Belgium, and here I am all of a sudden with these people. So my passion lies in the portraits as well. So if I could go on a tour, for example, with the Rolling Stones for like a couple of months and shoot backstage, what they do backstage in black and white on film, that would be a dream. And if you bring this same dream to automotive, then I think I would go for Le Mans, 24 hours of Le Mans, and go there, but backstage, not shooting the cars, but backstage when the drivers come in and the emotions and that kind of stuff.
I love it. So maybe soon. Can you tell me something about your childhood, like how you grow up actually, and what was for you to be a kid, and what do you remember from the childhood, like some memories, like
Yeah.
because there's always reason why I'm asking for this, because there's always influence, like what we do. There's always influence from our parents or grandparents. What was your childhood?
Well, it was great. I was an only child, so growing up in a small village next to Antwerp. So my parents were working class people, so they always did whatever they could do to make sure I got one time skiing in the winter with school or with friends, and one time in summer go to the beach or whatever. So I had no complaints at all. I was not hungry, but I never lived in luxury neither. It was just like middle class working family. So what I remember from that, my father was sick at a really young age. He was 30 and he got sick on his kidneys. So back then I realized, okay, he's not going to be that old, so I have to make the most out of it while he's there. And he was a hobby photographer back then on the Pentax on film. And I remember he always called me back in the garden to take a picture. You know how it goes when you're a kid. But then I was all dirty from playing outside with friends, and then I had to change my clothes. And it was like, to be honest, a pain in the ass. I would sit there, he took the film, take the picture, another picture. Took for hours in my head. So I was never into photography back then because I associated it with something annoying. But then later on I did some modeling jobs when I was young, and then I got intrigued and interested in the photography. But apart from that, my childhood, my parents always believed in what I was doing. They let me they say I'm going to be a photographer, and they say, okay, well, whatever, you can do whatever you want, but try to be the best as you can. I must say in the beginning, my mom was like all in, let's say, I love you, but do your best. Just do your best. My father in the beginning was like, photography, it's nice, but what are you going to do during the week? I said, no, this is what I want to do in the week as well. And because back then you need to study, because what the family is going to tell you, my son is an artist. And it's different than in the States. An artist is like an artist. In Belgium, maybe here is the same. When you would say, I'm an artist, the first years you say it, you got sweat in your back, like, okay, I'm an artist. So what do you do? But they always supported me. So, and I think that's very important towards your kids. And I have 2 kids, my own right now, and I tell them you can do everything you want.
Same approach to them.
But try to be the best, at least for yourself, and not be lazy. You don't have the good mentality, because people, if you see my Instagram, people think, man, you have an easy life all the time in LA. Yeah, but that's Instagram. There's a flip side to this as well, because if I'm in LA for a month, that means I'm not home for a month, and I don't see my kids for a month. So you sit in the hotel, look at the ceiling, and sometimes you feel super lonely because you're on the other side of the world. So, and also this book, it doesn't come overnight.
Yes.
It comes from years and years and years of dedication and work and trying to be the best version of yourself.
So do you have, like, you said that sometimes you feel lonely, especially like during this separation. Do you have any like fears as artist or as human being?
The only fear that I have is that I want to be with my kids as long as I can to be there for them. But I think everyone with kids has the same idea. See them growing up, but behind the loneliness, I think it's part of being an artist and traveling, because sometimes you also enjoy this loneliness, because it's kind of an addiction as well, because you get creative in this process, because you have to be creative and start doing other stuff. But when I get really lonely, I call Pavel. No, I think that's part of. I think everybody, even if you live here, you feel lonely sometimes. Especially in really big cities where you're just one of millions of other people. So
and what I can like feel from you is like you really like to speak about emotions and the souls and everything. Have you ever like for example, did something like different, like let's say, have you paint or something, or have you did like some music or something?
No, music I tried. I think I bought 15 times a guitar, and I 15 times sold it again after a week, because I'm not so patient. And then I buy a guitar, and I think after a week I'm there. It's not working. So I have my friend there playing the guitar, so he knows it's not that easy.
Yeah.
So I have no talent, I think, for music.
Because why I'm asking is because you sometimes like you have these moments when you would like to shoot, let's say, but you have kind of like different idea for different projects. Like let's say you have some vision sometimes, and for example, me, I really when I have some vision but I can't shoot it, or to do short film, whatever, I use painting. And some people like it's why I'm asking, like
But I did some painting, and I really like the process of painting, because you go in a bubble, you put the music on, you paint. The only thing is I don't feel confident by showing the painting. Because when you do photography, I feel after all those years I feel confident about my work. So it's hanging here, and there's not a single picture where I feel like embarrassed, like oh my god. But my painting, because people see me as a photographer, and then they think, this guy, he thinks he can paint now as well, So.
But I would love to see like some of your paintings.
Yeah, but I hide them, like because
maybe in future, maybe you will just create some book about another art.
But it's the same creative process. You learn, and there's a little bit of yourself in that painting. So you have to,
If you will speak about yourself, with younger self, what do you will say to this little boy? After all these years of experience.
Well, I made many mistakes in life, which I think is a great lesson as well. Afterwards, I was fortunate enough to be a really talented football player when I was young, but I didn't have the mentality to know that talent alone doesn't bring you anywhere. So you need to work hard as well. And I always thought, okay, it will come by itself, but it doesn't. So at some point you get too old, and then the group of elite players, they're gone, and you're struggling behind, and then you not make it anymore. Do I regret it? Yes and no, because I know I had everything to be a professional football player, but was my life going to be better? Then I don't know. Maybe I was unhappy about it, but I tried to give this lesson to my son now, which is also a good player. Like, hey, go for it, because maybe you miss something. So this I would tell to myself. And then I had a period in my life between my 15 and my 18 that I mentioned before. We had a big club scene in Belgium, and everybody was on the drugs. Of course, me too, because I wanted to be with them, and we took a lot of everything we could get our hands on, and it went out of from once in a weekend to every day. Like an addiction almost. Well, not almost, but an addiction. And then just before I turned 18, I stopped, like from one day to another, because I realized that my father was sick and was not going to be that old. And I never took any drugs again anymore in my life. And do I regret? No, because I had an amazing time flying in the clouds for 3 years also as well. Lucky enough to be there, because I lost a couple of friends obviously as well. But I'm happy I did it when I was young, and it's been a lesson, it's been a fun time also. But if I would do it again, I would maybe say, okay, maybe it's a waste of your time for those 3 years, because you're not doing anything. You think you do amazing stuff, but you don't do anything, basically, by sitting in the couch and thinking you do great stuff, but it isn't. So, but everything else, I think it turned out fine, and we're here and we're having fun. So.
And do you have any advice for a young generation, like for young photographers?
Well, like I said before, I think they should stick to one thing and try to be the best they can. There's nothing wrong with being a photographer for weddings, but try to do something different than the other ones. Make your own style. The difficulty these days is the marketing. Because you need to have the social media, you need to have the TikTok, the Instagram, and everything. And some people are just not good in that part.
Sometimes can be overwhelming as well.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. And today you need to have everything. You need to be a good photographer, but also a good seller, and a little bit of the marketing, and do the talk. And some people are just shy and don't want to talk, but they're amazing artists. And
Have you do you use like agents or do you like sell yourself by yourself?
Most of the stuff I sell by myself. I worked with 3 or 4 agents over the years, and it's a hit or miss.
Yeah.
Because being on a website with other photographers and just for the sake of being on the website doesn't make sense. I want the agents to sell my stuff and call me and say, hey, this is sold. And this is difficult. They have to believe in your stuff and really have a big network. Because I had for example, if you do an exhibition and you have to bring your own people, then I can do it in my garage as well. So when I do an exhibition like here, this is interesting because the guys from Speed Aids, they bring people I never see before. So that's interesting. But if I knew all the people, then it's stupid to do a show. No, they can just call me. So the agent it's always a difficult thing. Yeah.
What do you hope people feel 30 years from when they open your book now?
In 30 years.
Yeah.
I hope I'm still there, but it's tricky. But no, I just hope that I inspire them with photography. Because this book for me is more about the photography than it's about the cars. And I hope people look at it and say, okay, he was doing what he liked to do. He was following his passion, and of course there's a love for the cars, but the book for me is more about the photography than it's about the cars itself. So
and it's interesting because you're like every book what I saw it's just very timeless. You know, there is no, because you can't do anything with analog and you know some extra effects or anything like this. So I think with books like this it'll be always like timeless, and like you can see this book in 100 years and it'll be still the same. It's same like my Helmut Newton, like all his books is just simple analog photography, like simple lighting, sometimes like daylight lighting, and it's still beautiful even now. So I think it will be same thing with your books. Guys, if you want, you can buy the book here as well. There is option as well. When you buy the book, Bart will sign the book.
Yeah, I'm happy to sign it.
And there is option as well to buy some of these prints downstairs, upstairs, and
Thank you.
So, if you have guys any questions here, you can even ask. Like, I'm talking right now with people upstairs, but if someone have question from downstairs, you can come here as well and ask to Bart something.
Yep, I'm here. Or if you want to talk to me when I'm downstairs walking, have a question, come to me, and I'm more than happy to reply.
Yeah, don't be shy, guys. I would like to as well thank you to our partners, and we are in beautiful space Koncepty in Holešovice in Prague. I would like to thank you as well Kilo Ketchup for beautiful catering, lunch meat, Rakin, and again Speed Dates. And after this podcast there will be another, I think, 4 DJs. There will be lunch meat show. And thank you very much for the interview.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Big inspiration for me. And enjoy the day, guys. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope he didn't. Oh, it's still recording. I was afraid it was going to.
No, it was good.